And check this Vice City Mafia coming back at you again. I'm your boy Cross-Eyed, and today I'm doing it a little different. You know, this isn't like our average podcast that drops on Sunday. This is one of me interviewing my dad.
What's up?
AKA
DJ Triple R, Big Rudy.
DJ
Rudy.
Triple R, Big Rudy, the real Rudy. Yo, so like there's a lot of questions like how do you feel like the way you were raised is different from the way I was raised? Do you feel like I was raised more easy, on an easier life? Or like how was your life compared to mine?
Definitely easier, you know. I had a very, like, my life could probably be a movie, bro. It'd be interesting as hell to talk about it, but we only got an hour, put it like that. You know, my father had a big impact on me, although he was only there until I was 4, you know. He was taken from me, but so with that being said, I had a rough life because my mom, you know, didn't really have somebody to support her, so she was alone for a lot of times, in and out, but mostly alone. And so watching her struggle a lot built me into the person I am, and I try to, you know, keep that from being my lifestyle raising you. I try not to struggle as hard, but you know, it was still a struggle.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give you a different image and prepare you differently. You know. So.
Yeah, I feel that. I got are you able to talk about what happened to Grandpa?
Yeah, I can talk about it. So my father was very popular. He was a musician. Your granddaddy was a musician for a couple bands back in the 70s and 80s here in Miami, and he was a popular man. He played with Conjunto Universal and Fatherhood Chronicles, you know, it was Spanish music. And he was in the billboards for many years. And so he was wealthy. He became wealthy. He didn't, you know, he started from the bottom, you know, like to say. And he was also a tow truck driver when he got here from Cuba. And he was into mechanics. He hustled very hard. Met my mom, and my mom is also a musician, your grandma. And I believe they met either in the studio, in the studio rehearsing. And, you know, fast forward, they fell in love, and thank God they had my sister and myself. My sister first. And fast forward, you know, back in the 80s in Miami, Miami was going through a lot of drug wars and a lot of crazy scenes.
Yeah.
You know, people became involved. Sometimes they didn't want to be involved. And in between, you know, my father had some friends that were involved and became part of a group that, you know, maybe it was best he didn't. And so he disappeared back when I was 4 years old. Disappeared, and nobody knew where he went or where he was at, but we knew he wouldn't disappear on us. And fast forward, as I became an adult, I realized that he didn't just disappear, they disappeared him. You know?
Yeah.
And so that's as much as I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I understand. Like, were you, do you feel like not having a dad and me having a dad in my life, do you feel like if you had your dad in your life, you would have been raised differently? Hence me being raised differently?
Oh, most def. You know, I feel like every child should have a mom and a dad. Is very important. Whether you're a male or a female, the man image in your life is very important as much as the woman's image. And not having a consistency with the male image in my life had an impact on me, because I feel like I was always seeking for somebody to show me, you know, the steps of life in a male's perspective. Although my mom did a great job, and she beat my ass a couple of times when it was necessary.
Yeah.
And also taught me, you need to defend yourself when you have to at a very young age. And I took that to a different level, but she did a hell of a job, you know what I'm saying? A lot better than most, I could say, that I've witnessed. So, very impressive. But there was a lot of questions that I wouldn't be able to ask my mom, you know. and or any female, and that the male part, that tough love, is one of the ones I was missing growing up, and so I made sure that when I had you, that I'd stay free, stay out of the streets, and raise you into becoming the man you are today.
Now, a lot of people know that I'm involved in a strip club business. Like, I'm a manager. Now, I don't think they know that you were in that business when I was like, what age? I was probably like
I started the business back in 2000, 2001.
2001.
So you were 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, 2 or 3. And so,
Yeah, I
like,
didn't choose that life for you, man. I didn't. I'm gonna say it for the fans out there. Naturally, I just wanted him to have a great career and all, but somehow, some way, along the years, he's followed every footstep of mine. All the positive ones at least, and it's pretty impressive because although I try to divert you from going that direction, you just end up falling into the same steps, whether it's the same businesses, sometimes the same steps with certain girls, you know what I'm saying? That like the steps that you take is like very close to mine. With your cars, the way you got your first car and your second car, how long you had that first car for.
Yeah.
Hey, confession, it was the same for me.
I think I had it like 6 months, and then I crashed
It
it.
was probably more than mine, dude.
Yeah.
I had my first car was my dream car. It was a Buick Regal, 86, dropped with hammers, and I was living it, bro. And matter of fact, I met your mom with that car, but I love that car, dude. And I got into a wreck. My mom told me, "Be careful too." She said, "Be careful. There's a lot of traffic at this time," and I just had to go. I was with my cousin, Mafia, at the time, and fuck that car up, bro. Just being ignorant, being a kid.
I remember when I crashed my first car, I think I blamed you guys more because I had to bring my sister from school. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be late for work.
That's what I'm talking about. Just like my mom told me, I told you, don't take that road, cut through here. But you were like, no, that's the way I know how to get home.
Yeah, because I couldn't put GPS. I didn't have no phone service at the time.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to try to force you to
take an uncomfortable route.
You're not comfortable with, so...
I never take that road now. I call it the devil's road. I never go down that road.
Well, you live and you learn, man. You got to take L's to learn.
Yeah.
A lot of people they freak out when they take an L, but I've learned that those are necessary.
Yeah.
Necessary to learn from them.
Yeah, I think it's necessary to fail. I've taken a couple L's that you've taken, and then you've told me prior to me taking the L, and I'm just like, God damn, how the hell did he know that I was going to take this L? Or like when I was younger and you would tell me, you're lying. And in my head as a kid, I would just be like, how does he know I'm lying? Like,
You know why I do? Because I used to lie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did the same mistakes. I did the same thing that you do. When you go to school and you think you're going to get away with something, and you come home and you come up with some bullshit. Oh, no, I was going to get the report card, but I lost it, but the teacher said she's going to give me... When you come up with that bullshit, I already knew because I did it. Yeah. I did the same lie. If I did the same lie, I could already predict. As soon as your mouth opens, I'm like, oh, you're going to try that one. So I used to tell you back then, yo, you know why that shit ain't going to work? Because it didn't work for me back in 98. It ain't going to work for you in motherfucking 2008. It ain't going to work, nigga.
I remember, do you feel like you had me too young? And if you had me later on, I would have, because I've had a good life. Like, we've had some struggles, where we moved houses back to back. Mm-hmm. But do you feel like if you had me later on, that it would have been better off? Or do you feel like the time you had me was great?
Well, to be honest.
And what age did you have me at? Because
I was exactly 19 when your mom got pregnant. And she was pregnant for 9 months. And when she had you, I had just turned 20. And 1998. On October 25th, I turned 20, and you were born about 2 weeks later. So we share Scorpio birthdays.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah. That's why I said whenever you turn 21, I turned 21 back when we went to Vegas.
Oh yeah.
And so we stayed 20 years apart. So it's easy to remember how
Yeah.
old are you, because I just take away 20 years. If I'm 45, then you're 25.
Yeah, that's usually how I'm able to tell people.
But to answer your question, when your mom got pregnant, we planned you. You know what I'm saying? We were young, dumb, and full of cum. You know,
Yeah.
but we loved each other so much that we wanted to make sure we stay together forever. And so we planned you, and you came quick, a lot faster than I could imagine. And you know, if I was to give you advice, I would say no. Do not have no kids, which I did. Don't have no kids at fucking 18 and 19 years old. You don't know shit. But for me, it was a little different because I have some crazy individuals that were around me and friends, and if I didn't have had you when I did, I probably wouldn't be a free man, bro. I'd be making stupid decisions. But since you came about, it was like, nah, I need to tighten up. I need to fucking act right. You know what I'm saying? I can't be fucking around and I can't be messing around with these people no more. Because I had a plan, you know what I'm saying? I had to raise you. I like to have you around forever and be part of that. So, yeah, I made some different choices. So, for most, it'd be a bad idea to have a kid at such a young age. For me, I don't think it was at all.
All right, that's cool. I didn't even think about that. Now, a lot of people, some people, like when I tell them they're interested on how I was punished versus them. Like a lot of people, like I remember when I would go to school and, only my stepmom or my mom would take away my phone or my Xbox, you know what I mean? Or put me in a corner standing, and I could do that easily. Now, the punishment you gave me was push-ups, which is when I tell people how I was punished throughout the years until I finished. I think until senior year, you stopped giving me push-ups. Like they get freaked out. Why did you choose to give me push-ups?
So being raised, my mom whooped my ass. I love her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it helped. But I feel like sometimes when you beat a child's ass, it's like you're also letting out your frustration. And if, in my opinion, with a little bit of intelligence, you could use that punishment to where it benefits that child. And the only thing that I could think of that could benefit as much would be push-ups. So I thought to myself, well, he's going to hate doing push-ups. I hate to have to sit there and count them. If I told you do 100 push-ups and look away, go back to watching TV, you're just going to come at me 5 minutes later and be like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So it took my time too. And to argue, come on, finish 20, stop, rest, now hurry up, do another 20, hurry up. And that built a little bit of discipline, and it built you also. When you were in high school, you were thanking me.
Yeah, I was jacked.
You know what I'm saying?
I was jacked. I'll take off my shirt after high school for no reason.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I would never take off my shirt, dude.
I was taking off.
You know what I'm saying?
I would take off my shirt everywhere.
I knew it would change your life, and I knew it would give you a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you would see that I was a father that loved you and didn't beat your ass and take out my Tuesday because I had a bad day and just go off on you.
Yeah, I think I've
You know
only.
what I'm saying? I'm sure I'm normal. I'm sure I had my days where I was frustrated. Maybe my check came in short, landlord knocking at the door, and shit was fucking going sideways. And then you walked in with some crazy shit, and I go off on you.
Yeah.
You know, twice as hard. You know, I'm just normal. You know what I'm saying? I ain't perfect, but I feel that beating you was not gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm a little above average. Putting my hands on you on a little body, I could probably really hurt you really bad. So I was just like, nah, let's just give you push-ups. And I did that with you and with Christian, with the older brother. With Ruby, I didn't give her push-ups because she's a girl. But I started to give her squats. And then a good friend of mine told me, you sure you want to build that little girl to have a big, badass body like that? And Ruby was all looking pretty chunky, pretty thick thighs and all when she was in middle school. I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna stop those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop those squats.
She got an easy go. She got an easy out. I remember I'd get push-ups for everything.
With Ruby, what I would do is a lot of lecturing. I'd sit down and she'd be shit out of luck for the next hour. I sit down in a lecture and I tell you, you know why you can't do that shit? And I go back and forth. Then I give her an example. Then I go back and I even sit there and take the time and show her a video. Look what happened to this dude that was playing with knives or driving crazy. You know what I'm saying? Or driving too early and driving a fast car or whatever the subject may be. I would take my time. And I love doing it. Though. Like parenting for me it's like a blessing for me. You feel me? So I did it with you guys and I did it with my nieces and nephews. I really love, guiding people in the direction I feel like they should go instead of making the same mistakes I did.
For new parents out there, what advice would you give them if they just got their baby born? For a father, better said.
Patience. Patience is going to be one of the hardest, most challenging thing, even from birth, because it's cute. When the baby come out, oh shit, it looks like me, it's got this, look, it's got mommy's this, back and forth. But 2 o'clock in the morning, the whining, I need milk. Go get it, mom. Sometimes you got to help her too and give her a break. And it's challenging when you don't want to get up and that baby don't shut the fuck up. And you start questioning yourself, your own fatherhood. You're like, well, I don't know if this motherfucker, if I'm going to stick around and hear this shit. I'm going to do some overtime this week. Fuck this. It's challenging. But so my advice is work on your patience. Take turns. Don't get overwhelmed. And just always guide them. Don't give up. Always guide them in the right direction, man. And we already take certain steps. Don't beat your kid's ass as much as you're gonna want to. Just give them push-ups.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
I think
punishment.
It worked out best for me. Push-ups.
And I remember I'd be in pain for weeks too. It wouldn't even be like, because how many push-ups would I averagely get?
On an average, after I worked you to that level, it was 200. That's a fact. 200 was the punishment. That was already, obviously not in elementary. When you were in elementary, you messed up, I'd say, sit here and do 20 push-ups. And you were so hyperactive that it was a challenge. And once I saw you could do 20 push-ups, fine, no problem, I started adding. I said, okay, we're going to do 50. So you're going to do 20, 20, and 10, or 60. And then it moved up to 100. And so you would do not 100 straight, but you would do 20 5 times. And Christian too. But Christian was a little advanced. He was older than you. So whenever I gave him push-ups, I would be like, no, 150, 200. And as you catch up to his age, you did the same amount, 200. And so it would take you about maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. You sit there. Sometimes we get caught up during the push-ups. I'll be talking to you about school or whatever, and we'll get caught up in a conversation, and then I'll remember, oh, shit, hey, you still got 100 push-ups to go. And then you push the floor. Sometimes I give you a break or negotiate with you. All right, so you throw out the trash, give me a massage or something. Or help me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, or help me wash the truck, wash the car, the boat, and I'll take them away. But you fucked up this week, so you owe me. And we'll negotiate it sometimes as time went by. As you became older, the negotiation became better. And I would just have you do chores and stuff like that. But even all the way up to you were 18 years old, even Christian, I made sure even after he turned 18, I still told him once to do push-ups, and he did them. And that was the last time after he turned 18. And same thing for you.
Yeah.
As you turn 18, just make sure you still had that discipline and respect for me. You see,
Yeah,
you
felt
fucked
like
up, you're doing push-ups. You
the
still
push-ups-
living under my roof, you're doing push-ups.
Yeah, the push-ups did a lot for me. Like, not only did it make my physique and make me a sex symbol out here for these girls, you know what I mean? And now I got a beautiful girl at home. But it also taught me something, I think, a little more valuable, like it taught me to, like, self-discipline. Because even after the push-ups and after that part of my life was done and I was 18, I think I was 19, and I started going to the gym. Then I started working out and just keeping up with my physique that you had already gifted to me, giving me all those push-ups.
Yeah.
Because I was jacked.
Well, it's important, man. I didn't have nobody teach me about working out and going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? I learned it later. Can't be a fat ass like this my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, even in high school, I went to the gym a little bit. when we lived in Georgia, we had a gym in the apartment complex that we lived in. It was just included with the apartment. And so I go hit the weights a little bit and stuff, but I didn't know what I was doing at all. Matter of fact, I could have just hurt myself.
Yeah.
You know, but I did work out a little bit, and in school, I did too. But it only got serious, like, I would say, as soon as I started bouncing. You know, I had a reason I had to get strong. I can't just be fat and flabby. You know, it'd be dangerous for me. So I started working out, hitting the weights a little different. Started learning with coworkers, other bouncers who would teach me and guide me. Don't hurt yourself. Don't do it like that. Don't go too heavy. Leave your ego outside. And all that helped me. And so through the years, I just work out a little. And then sometimes I'll go hard, like, I'll stay consistent for a month, 2, 3 months, and I'll see changes. And I like them. Everybody else did too. The compliments always help. Oh, shit, you've been working out. You know, so I made sure to pay that forward and give that to you and Christian.
Yeah, here, let me fix it.
Go closer.
All right, now, when because you used to be what would you say is the highlight of your life so far? Like the highlight, like the part that, like, the year or the moment that you were like, yo, this is like the happiest moment.
Well, I've had a
other
lot of
than
goals.
Us being born. All right, I'll say that. Say like your happiest moment.
Well, I would say I'm an emotional person, so if I'm going through a real happy moment, I probably gotta hide my tears or something. So moments that I had like that, where I felt, yo, I'm accomplished. I would say being part of Goodfellas when I partnered up with Ronnie, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
It was a very big moment for me because I've been working in the bar business for so long. I went from bouncing to DJing to then managing. I started managing just like you. That's one of the things I'm talking about, that you follow my footsteps. When I started managing, I started learning about the business a lot more. So I always dreamed of possibly owning a club one day, you know. So strip club was a little impossible for me at the time, you know. So so when the opportunity came with Goodfellas, it was a real moment for me. I was like, holy shit.
And Goodfellas was a bar for.
Yeah, it's a sports bar down in Color Ridge. Not the best one, but you know, it was the beginning steps for me. So it was like a dream come true. So it could have been a lot better, but you know, I guess I didn't have high expectations. It was just an accomplishment, you know. So that was cool. That was real cool.
Now another thing, you opened up another bar after that called TKO.
TKO Bar and Grill,
and I think
that was, you know, I couldn't predict that we were gonna have a pandemic and deal with COVID-19. So if I felt like after so many years of experience that I have, there's like nothing that could stop me from having a successful bar or sports bar. So I took the risk. I took not the last little bit of money, but you know, the last little bit of money I was willing to invest into a bar, and so I did that. Super great day for me, but it wasn't like Goodfellas for me. It was just like, all right, I've already done this. I need to do it again. And I was very worried about, you know, not making ends meet. But every month looked better. You know, after the first couple of months, you know, my first month, I just lost a lot of money. After the second and the third, and I started seeing the numbers get better and better. So I started seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But then I was sitting at the bar one day and put on the news. It was a Spanish channel. And because it was a Spanish bar in Hialeah. So when I put on the news and I hear about COVID-19, there's a virus going around and everybody's getting sick. They're telling everybody to stay indoors, do not leave. Government and the mayor is talking about closing businesses. I was like, nah, bro. What the fuck are they talking about? Closed businesses? What businesses? Of course, the least important ones would be nightclubs, bars, and restaurants, because restaurants and bars is where people do a lot of contact and get sick the most. So I couldn't believe my ears. Whereas I was like, no, this is bullshit. And sure enough, it came about where I had to close down, and I was like refusing to close. And I stay open, and I realized the cops were coming by, knocking on the door. So I was like, okay, they know it's open because the lights are on. So I just told the regulars, yo, just hide your cars. You know, I still got to pay these bills. So I was trying, I squeezed it as far as I could, and then I couldn't no more. So I had to shut it down. Couldn't continue to pay rent for a business that was closed. So that one bit me in the ass real bad.
Yeah.
Good moments that I had was while I had Goodfellas, there was a time that it was basically on autopilot. I had a couple of managers working there and running the business for me, as well as one of my partners. We would share, the schedule. And it was pretty much an autopilot, so I was able to just go during shift changes. And so I had a lot of time where I could spend at home. At the time, I used to take out the boat a lot. We'd go fishing, pick you up from school or whatnot. I had a lot of time in my hands. So I said, man, I'm going to just get me a part-time and start DJing and get back into the strip club business. I love DJing. And I sat down and spoke to the owner of the strip club that I was working at and told her some, my numbers at the bar and why I was doing it. It was like a hobby for me. She didn't believe me. So it was like, your bar does that? I said, yeah. I got two partners though, but yeah. She didn't believe me at all. She's like, that's impossible. I said, come over one day and we'll open up the books for you. She came in within the same couple days, like a couple days later. She stood out a lot because this bar, wasn't in the best neighborhood. And she just stood out. People thought she was the cop at first. Who the hell is this white lady coming in here?
Yeah.
Hey, Rudy, some white lady looking for you at the door. And so I'm like, who the hell? And when I saw her, I'm like, oh, shit, she came by. I was surprised. She's like, yeah, you told me you were going to show me something. I'm like, oh, shit, you really didn't believe me. So I showed her. And she told me it's unbelievable that this bar makes more than mine does. And she has an adult entertainment license. So I said, you got to make some changes over there, man, She had her son managing. He wasn't doing a bad job. He just didn't have the experience, And, when you're young, you're just having fun with all the dancers and all that.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I could guide you guys a little bit with what I know, but you have a couple of good managers. Then I realized that it wasn't just the managers. She was pretty hard on everybody. And what she didn't realize is that everybody was taking advantage of her. And anytime a bartender would get out of line, show up to work late or miss a shift, and the manager would tell them off or take away a shift, they would just make complaints about the manager to her, to the owner. And so she would come and ring the fucking manager a new asshole. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
She would come and tell him off. And it was like a vicious circle of just everybody hating and fighting everybody all the time. And then I came in and I said, from an outsider's point of view, I'm like, oh, you know what? You actually got a couple good managers here. It's just all the staff, they call you and complain, and they're too close to you. And she offered me to start managing for it. So I said, I will, but we'll have a meeting at ASAP. And I don't want them contacting you like that. It may seem kind of crazy, but it's just stirring up too much. And so I could tell somebody off for coming in late, and then tomorrow they'll make up some BS about whatever they can about me, and then they'll see that they do have power, and then I got to be careful, and then you're mad at me all the time, and nothing gets fixed. So first thing is, if they need to contact you, it's going to have to be through me. As crazy as it may sound. She's like, no, well, you have a point. I had a lot of leverage because I had Goodfellas. I didn't really need the job like that. And we had a couple of fallouts, her and I. But when she saw that her numbers changed drastically, that had never been changed before, she realized, fuck, Rudy may have a point. And she asked me, yo, how the hell are you doing this? Well, I broke it down to her, gave her some like real knowledge and showed her that I didn't know what I was talking about. And she loved me, dude. Unfortunately for her, she was too deep in the hole, so the club got taken from her. And that's when it became Divas, when and Phil and Mike took over it.
Yeah.
Should I have mentioned the name?
It's all right. I can believe it out.
All right.
Nah, but everyone knows.
So,
And that's around the time I came into.
That was for me another good moment when she left. She mentioned, "Oh, I know you guys are coming in and you're going to change everything here, but if you get rid of this guy, you're going to be making a big mistake because he's been doing really good by me and he's actually changed his club around a lot, and his whole staff is awesome. So just keep that in mind." And Mike spoke up that day, and he did say something nice. He said, "No, I know him. I know Rudy real well, and he's not going anywhere." And he kept it real. He didn't get rid of me like most club owners do when they take over a club. He kept me around. He actually asked me for the list of things and changes that I needed to make to the club, and one of them was to change the name because I had a bad reputation. So he changed the name, and I felt super, super proud that he actually changed it into a name that I came up with. You know, at home, I had 3 different names. I said, "Look, these are 3 different names." One name
I remember. Yeah. I was sitting here when I was about to go to the Army.
I loved one of the names, but unless you saw the logo, you wouldn't get it. Like Miami Tales, but the logo showed like a sexy cat with the tail under the name, and so it's Miami Stories. But whatever, I like that one, but I like the logo more. Divas, I liked everything about it. You know, the logo, the colors. Miami Divas I thought it would bring some girls to work at a nice environment with a cool name, whatnot. And it was just very important to change the name because of the bad reputation I had. So I was very proud of that.
Yeah.
That he did that. And he did do a lot of things to the club that I didn't see possible, not with the previous owner, because of the budget. And so the whole time I was working there, I was super happy. I was also making a decent amount of money between Goodfellas and Divas. So I was able to take time off, like vacations every couple of months, and went to Vegas a couple times. So those were good moments in my life.
That's awesome. That's good. I remember when you left the club, and I had already learned so much. Like one thing in this business that people get in the club business that people get confused is how much knowledge I actually have on it. Because that's why I've been able to do well in it. You know, it's not what I want to do. You know, I want to do podcasting and videography and engineering music. You know, like my grandfather, which is another crazy thing. How do you feel the fact that I'm so into music and arts without you even having to teach me?
I think it's something that you can't avoid, man. There's so many musicians in our family, from generation to generation. Even your great-grandfather was a big musician. Your grandmother is a musician. Your great-grandmother's a musician. May she rest in peace.
My cousins.
Yeah, cousins. Everybody in the family is like heavy into music, and we just have that gift. I guess it's in our blood, man. We can't avoid it. We feel music a little different than maybe the average. I don't know, it's just my opinion, but you know, if you look at like my nephew Christopher, he's so gifted, dude. It's amazing. Yourself, and it's just something that comes natural. Nobody told you or forced you. You know, I know a lot of parents that force their kids into ballet, they force them into piano classes, and they do okay, but some kids don't need to be forced to do anything. They just like to do it. And it's something you like to do. It's something that it's just in your genes. Can't avoid it. I love music a lot. I don't have any talent for any instrument. I never really put my mind into it or any time into any instrument like that. I love DJing though. And I do know once I get in the microphone and do my little MC thing, everybody loves it.
Yeah, that's true. I remember seeing it as a kid. Now, do you think a bloodline has everything to do with what the child, all right, so for parents, right? Let's say my grandfather, okay, your dad was an artist. Your whole family was artists, not just singing, but painting also. Do you think like the bloodline of a family will cause the kid to act this way? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get exactly what
Like
you're saying.
if there's a house full of brainiacs, the kid's gonna automatically be a brainiac, or do you think it's due to the way they're raising them?
I think it's a little combination of both, but definitely it's in the genetics. You know, like look at a lot of athletes. A lot of athletes have their own kids, and some, you know, I would imagine if you're a famous football player, you want your son to be the next one. Like Deion Sanders, look at his son now playing football. Also, he's in, I believe, in the college team, the same one that he's coaching. And I feel like it's inevitable, you know, that if this is what you do and this is what you love doing, your kids watched you do it, and they start becoming an interest to them, and they start liking it too. You know, if you could do something that you love to do, say you won't work a day in your life. And so, especially for sports and music, if you love doing music, then I support it. You know, go ahead and go hard on there. And if, like I said, if you're doing something that you love to do, then you won't work a day in your life.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Now, between me, my brother, and my sister, and the bad decisions we've made, right, throughout our life, do you blame yourself for those bad decisions that we make?
That's a good question. Sometimes I blame myself, but I won't tell nobody. You know, because we set an example. You know, I may tell you, Rodolfo, I don't want you fucking driving fast, doing stupid shit. Pay attention to the road, don't be taxing. The same thing I'll tell Ruby and I'll tell Christian. But at the same time, sometimes I get a text and you might be in the back seat. I may look at the road, I'm like, I know I got plenty of space. I'm going to see who this is real quick because it could be something important. Put the phone down, go back to my thing. Now, I know that you saw me do that. You feel me? So although I'm telling you, oh, it's stupid to do, you saw me do it. You know that I know what I'm doing. You know, thank God I've never gotten into an accident while I'm texting or nothing like that. It's not something I like to do. But if something happened to you while you were texting, I would be like, God damn it, maybe I should have been a little more serious when I told him that. I never did it in front of him because he thought it was good. I got 20 years plus of more experience than you do driving. You know what I'm saying? So when I do it, I may be watching out for a lot of more things than you could imagine you'd have to watch out for. So sometimes it's like, damn it, maybe I should have gone about that differently. So sometimes we got to teach you how to not do something, but we also have to lead by example. And sometimes we're not the best example, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Now, my brother, he wasn't bullied as much as me in school because I had a lazy eye, you know?
well,
Or was he?
I
Because
I
I
kind of
always saw him
disagree
as a
because
cool guy.
I kind of disagree. The difference is, well, you both are the same way. Like you guys never came home with, you know how I would get. I won't let nobody bully you. I would make a big scene about it, and so would your mom and your stepmom. But I feel like Christian kept it low key a lot. You know, because he told me later, like when we lived in Indiana, he got bullied a lot in school. You know, your brother's mix in Indiana. The majority of the kids there are white kids. You know, unfortunately, it's just a reality that some kids have to deal with. You know, I prepared them as much as possible, but there's only so much I could do. I can't go to class with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so he told me later as an adult about the days of how he used to get beat up or attacked in school and how many fights he got into in the bathroom, and kids were just, you know, just being ignorant and being kids. But I didn't know. But he did tell me about being bullied a lot. I don't know if he shared it with you, but you know, sometimes that's not something that kids really, especially as a male kid, you don't want to go around talking about you get bullied because you know we have egos and we don't want to seem like victims.
Yeah.
We want to feel alpha male where we're at. So sometimes it's not very easy to talk about, you know. But I'm his dad, so he did tell me. I don't know if he told you.
Nah.
I didn't think he did. So that's why I could disagree a little bit. But I think everybody goes through that, man. I went through it too. You know, we all get bullied. I also had a lazy eye during school. luckily, my mom got me fixed when I was about 16.
Yeah, I think
I
I denied
had
it.
my surgery, and it changed a lot. But I was a pretty big boy too already at 16, and a lot of people they make fun of me unless they felt, close enough, like friends. Those were the ones that would get away with it, and I'd always check them, but you ain't gonna beat up a friend of yours because you always roast them back with something else.
Yeah. Do you think it's important for kids to get bullied? Do you think kids that aren't bullied are softer than kids that were bullied?
I think so, but I wouldn't be able to answer that with full knowledge, because I've never really met a kid that hasn't been bullied. Everybody's goes through that stage. Um, but I think it's part of life, and you have to learn how to deal with situations, because not everything's going to be given to you easily. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to go to a job and love everybody and everybody love you. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be some douchebag that wants your position or wants to know why you get paid more than him or why you get a vacation and he hasn't gotten his. It's always going to be some bullshit going on at work and some dude that's going to test you. You know what I'm saying? So it's part of life, man. You got to be tough and learn how to deal with it and not always confront situations, just ignore it and move forward. Know that you're doing better than them. They're just hating, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to be bullied, to be honest, in my opinion.
I agree. I think those were important parts of my life.
Yeah.
But also another question: how was it versus raising me versus raising my sister, and who was easier for you to raise?
You definitely weren't easy. You were not easy at all. But it's two different worlds, man, because with the boys, we want to protect you both, whether it's a girl or a boy, parents are always going to want to be there, But sometimes you got to let the boys take the L's. Like, get into your little fight in school, get into a confrontation. I don't always want to be there to defend you, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not always going to be there. So that's actually some advice for most parents. Like you asked me earlier, what advice I would give parents. Don't always be there, man. When kids tell you, hey, this teacher, this coach, the principal, or counselor, somebody's bullying me or they're targeting me for any reason, yeah, it's cool when you see that it's consistently becoming a real problem where it might be affecting the grades and all that. But kids are always going to come home and say, no, but this teacher was targeting me. This coach was treating me like shit, and he's always picking on me. Some kids they're going to use tactics in order to convince you that that's why their grade might be messed up or that's why they might want to be taken out of that class. Truth is, they just want to go to the class with their other friends or maybe a little girl or boy in that class that may have some interest too. You know what I'm saying? So don't always follow, that manipulation tactic that kids use because, kids nowadays, they're smart as hell, bro, and they use them.
Yeah.
So as far as me, I just go with the flow, bro. I don't really go crazy when you're getting bullied and all that. I let you deal with it. Only when it's really affecting your progress. As far as Ruby, I don't think Ruby dealt with a lot of bullying. Girls don't deal with that as much as boys do. Boys love to roast each other, you know what I'm saying? And pick on each other and very competitive. And whatever boys want to know who's the stronger one in the room or who's the better athlete, growing up, it's just a part of life. For girls, it's mostly like how they look, what they're wearing. They take their time before they go to school and they got to fix their hair, pants, shoes, or whatnot. So with Ruby, my challenges were different. They were a lot different than with yours. Like, it's getting her up, getting her to go to sleep, and getting her to get the fuck in the car. We got to go to school. You're going to get there late. And it was a lot of arguments between her and mom. Ruby, hurry up. Ruby takes her sweet time. She don't care about getting to school late. And those were the challenges with her. But I would say I had harder, tougher times with you and Christian than with Ruby. But to be fair, With her growing up, it was mostly the mom. Her mom was the one dealing with her mostly in her younger years. Now I would say it's a lot more even, but I always let Donna deal with Ruby mostly. You know, being female and going through certain stages in life, or how to dress and how to act like a little lady and all that. That was Donna's department. I can't teach her how to be a little lady, you know.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people on here know my sister is a lesbian, right?
Mm-hmm.
I usually use it like when people try to call me.
Say lesbian like that, you got to take that base. You're talking about my daughter. Over there.
But do you think, like your opinion, do you think that it was the way you raised her, or do you think it was the internet?
You know, I'm very close to her. So when you ask me, do I think, I'll be humble and say, I think this and that, but I know because her and I, we speak a lot. You know, I'd rather keep that little area a little filtered, you know, for her sake. But definitely, I learn a lot, you know, with raising you guys. You know what I'm saying? We're parents, but I'm not a teacher. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the game of parenting. You know, wasn't taught. I don't have a degree on it. So as the years go by, as I parent you guys and guide you through life, I as well learn. Oh shit, they didn't like this. Maybe I do it a little more often. You know what I'm saying? Or this worked. This didn't work. And with Ruby, it's amazing to me because we have such deep conversations of a lot of things that I wouldn't know nothing about. You know, like as far as the lesbian community, I know nothing about it. I know we have a lot of things in common. That's about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But so I do got a million questions. Now, sometimes when you ask, you know, you could have a lesbian or a gay friend and ask them questions, but there's gonna be filters because they're just your friends. They're not your daughter. You feel me? When it's family, it's different. They're gonna tell you exactly what comes from the heart. You know, the truth. So we've had this conversation multiple times in different occasions, and so I don't think that it was because of the way I raised her at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't have I don't have a play on her choice of sexuality. I don't. Would I want to? No, not at all. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want if you had came out feminine. You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
I'd have to love you the same, bro. But let me tell you, that would be a lot harder.
Yeah,
That would be a lot harder to deal with. You know, it would be a lot harder.
Yeah.
So I feel fortunate, man. I feel fortunate that my two boys are very manly, you know, very smart individuals, and that my daughter took the route she did. You know, it's her choice. You know, would I want her to change? Not at all. As long as she's happy, as long as you happy, it is what it is.
How amazing it must be for you to. Now I have no kids, so like having your kids, like just from like, or having me. You know, I'm saying your kids like I'm not your kid,
Yeah.
but having me like at like a young age and then seeing me grow up the way I am now. Like, how was that for you?
It's pretty amazing, bro. It's pretty amazing. Sometimes I feel neglected from you, but you know, you be busy as hell in your lifestyle. You got a lot going on for you, but you know, I think I'm unique when it comes to this though, because maybe it's a lack of having my dad around. I don't know, but I'm unique. I'm very close to you guys, and I'm very close to my nieces and nephews, like super close to all of y'all. So I talk about you guys all the time. Like I could, whether I'm at work, I could be at the grocery store talking to somebody to the left, and somehow, some way, you guys sneak into my conversations always. And this is just because I'm a proud father, man. I'm proud of you guys. You know, you all turned out way better than I can imagine. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, every dad wants their son and daughter to be the next president of the United States. You know, but in reality, you know, I'm just happy that you guys ain't, you know, no gang members or involved in any crazy shit. You know, you guys aren't thieves. You're pretty honest individuals, and that speaks for itself. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think one thing that like a lot of parents deal with, like I said, I'm not parenting myself, but like when I have a kid, you know, I wouldn't want him to be a gangster. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No, I think I'm not a gangster because while my brother and sister went to a good middle school, I went to all right middle school. You know, it was a little more hood because I just got over here from my mom's house, so you guys couldn't put me in good middle school.
right.
So I feel like seeing all that gangster shit around me and then going around and trying to be a gangster and fighting people and all that, I think, and then coming into the club business at the age I did, and then I saw gangsters and I saw their lifestyle, and I just chose, like personally, I was like, yeah, that's not what I want to do. How do you feel? All right, a better way. How do you feel like a parent could keep their kid from turning out to be a gangster or a thug? And or how have you deterred it, or what do
Yeah,
you think?
definitely pay attention to what schools you put them in and who their circle is. Um, I made sure that I spoke a lot to you guys. You know, not in the form that it's going to bore you of listening to me, but in the form that it would be entertaining to talk, be cool, we're chilling, and we could be watching TV shows. And as the TV shows pops up, I'll talk to you about that subject. So whether the subject is car thieves, millionaires, bankers, whatever the subject is, I would give you whatever information I have, whatever knowledge I have, and share it with you. So if gangs came up, um, you know, a lot of people thought I was affiliated, but truth be told, I've never been part of any gang. So I can't tell you what the inside world is of being in that gang or any gang, but I do have a lot of friends that been involved. You know what I'm saying? And they're very close to me, and I love them to death. Some of us have worked together for years. You know what I'm saying? So I do have my knowledge of it, and I wouldn't want, and I don't think they would want their kids to be part of that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And mostly, I believe that when kids or young men become involved in gangs, it's because they're looking for a father figure or family that they've never had, or that love they never had. And sometimes you find that in gangs, you know what I'm saying? You find a group of guys that will show you loyalty, love, and help you out. But in reality, sometimes it gets you caught up in a world that I wouldn't want my kids in.
All right.
So if I was to give some advice on how to keep your kids from becoming gang members, I mean, all I did was keep you away from the schools that were high in crime, or low grade point average, or a low amount of graduates, stuff like that. We paid attention to that, and we paid attention to what neighborhood was nearby that school. So a lot of times when I had to move or rent a house somewhere, when I was bringing you guys up and raising you, I made sure I wouldn't move, to an area, Florida City, I'm sorry to mention, and I don't want to mention those cities and degrade them, but, I wouldn't move into a city like that and knowing that you were going to have a hard time in school, unless you became a gang member. It'd be the only way to go to school and not have no problems, so that shit would suck. So my suggestion is just pay attention to what school you put these kids in and pay attention to who your circle is, what friends you're hanging out with, and educate them with how important their circle is. Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah, that was an important lesson I had. Now, one of your friends, Mr. Sanchez, they know him by. They don't know him by the name we call him, but he was your friend, and now I consider him like my uncle.
Yeah. It's crazy, bro, because people come into your life and you never imagine how close you become, And I never imagined when I met him that he would be like, to me, saying he's my friend is an understatement by far, dude. He's helped me raise you guys. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. I don't let nobody come in my house and yell at my kids. If Frank don't yell at me, I'd probably be mad at him. Nigga, you let him get away with that shit? And that's how we are. And after so many years, bro, he is like your uncle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a brother, but he lives in Cuba. He was born in Cuba and he's never left. So he's, your blood uncle, but you can't call him uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. he's not part of your life. Unfortunately, I'm sure. I mean, I would love him to, but he's not. But Frank is.
Yeah,
And
majority.
I feel like he deserves that title by far. If he don't want it, like it or not, that's your
Yeah.
uncle, bro. You know what I'm saying? And for all three of y'all feel like that about him.
Now, there was one more thing before we go because we're running out of time. But damn, what was I gonna say, bro?
Told you make notes, bro.
I forgot, bro.
I told
know
you that
you
would
told me to
happen.
make notes. You did. You did tell me to make notes. There was another question. I had just come up with it now.
I wanted to mention something for the record. I know we got about 4 minutes left.
Yeah, I like 6.
So
We
when
can
I
go
brought you into the adult industry, strip club industry, I had no idea. You know, at the time you had jobs like fast food restaurants.
yeah, like something.
And I was like, dude, I'm the general manager of this strip club. I need a bar back. This strip club had a bad reputation. That it was ghetto as hell. There was a lot of problems there. But after a couple of years of me being there, I have been cleaned out, really nice. You know, not to brag or nothing, but it's the truth.
You could brag. It's facts.
Yeah, it's the fucking truth. And so I said, why not just bring little Rudy? I thought it would be super interesting to bring you, have you around work, have you there all the time, give you my same schedule. It worked out perfect. And people always used to tell me, yo, why that kid work so hard? Why is that kid such a hard worker? Yo, your son really works. I didn't even know this about you, as I never worked with you before. You know what I'm saying? How you're gonna have this? You're not gonna have the same job if you're working at like a Subway and shit. I could never support a house. You know what I'm saying? You could get away with that because you were a kid or whatever. So when I brought you to the club, I figured, and the pay rate is fucking amazing for a bar back. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I don't know what it's like now, but at the time it was pretty decent. You weren't leaving home with I'd say less than $200 cash in your pocket.
Yeah.
Plus a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? It was a decent job compared to what you were at before. So for me, it was easy math. You know what? You'll be safe. And within that, if you recall correctly, right when you came in, I made a meeting and made sure everybody understood you're not a bouncer, you're not getting involved in anything. So for the record, I made sure he was safe. I didn't know that you were going to become this popular manager now, you know what I'm saying? And
all through Miami.
Yeah, and that you were going to learn the system so fast. I didn't imagine, Will, but I should have known, though, because you've been following my footsteps, too.
Yeah.
You do everything I do. Yeah.
I think people, I remember I just started a new club and people take my knowledge for granted because I'm so young, but they don't know I've been around it. The people I call my family have been in the game for so long, and I've just sat there and listened to stories and listened to things, listen to how this works, learned everything, and been able to excel in it very fastly to support my dream, which is this and making music. You know what I mean? Well, I had another question my bad. I had another question for you, man. I forgot it, bro.
I told you to make notes.
Yeah, man.
But they don't listen. They never listen.
I know.
You gotta learn. You gotta let them take these outs. Now we're running out of time.
Yeah,
you don't
I
have time
forgot
to
the
ask me the question. But let me tell you, I had a fucking great time. I didn't even think an hour would go by so fast.
Yeah, I told you it goes by quick when you're talking because we could talk for hours for free.
Yeah.
Now we're doing it, and people are able to listen to it and gain knowledge.
Yeah. I hope y'all gain something. Gain some knowledge.
Oh, I got it. Then we could go a little overtime. It's fine.
All right.
Because this was an important question. Now, I know a lot of men my age. Like I said, I don't have a child. I plan to in the future. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for fathers, so you and my mom separated at a young age for me. Now, for fathers that are taken away from their kids, how were you able to deal with that situation and be able to see me? Like, what would you tell a father that's not able to see his kid? Or,
bro, look,
how did you be able to come and see me and do all those things and keep that connection alive, even though I lived with my mother and not you?
I tell you what, I know we don't have a lot of time, but this is a very interesting.
Over time.
It's a very interesting question. Like I said before, when we started today's episode, we spoke about how my father disappeared from the picture once I was 4. So it was very emotional for me, dude. And I mean, like, hard. So I didn't deal with it very well, to be honest. Yeah, I needed you to be part of my life, by all means. So I tried everything possible. I love and respect your biological mom, you know what I'm saying? A lot. So I wouldn't say nothing that would, be derogatory towards her. But
Yeah, no, women make it difficult.
Yeah.
Now, a man deal in that situation that you were in. How do you think they should deal with it, and how'd you deal with it?
Bro, everybody's situation is unique. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, my mom was upset that I moved on so fast. She questioned that if I was even faithful. Sometimes, but we had our differences from way before. We got separated. I knew that our relationship was done before I even got her last apartment that I got her. And, my family knew. And one thing that's important to me is that my family knows what moves I'm making. So if anybody wants to later judge me, my family knows my name is clear. So I made sure my close relatives knew what moves I was making. I even encouraged your mom to ask them, you know what I'm saying, after we separated. Because I moved on quick. I had issues with my driver's license, and I met a good girl that became my daughter's mother later. And she was there by my side, and your mom hated that. At the time, I didn't know I was going to end up with her for such a long time. At the time, I just saw a beautiful chick that could help me out. She had an apartment. I needed somewhere to stay. I had a suspended driver's license at the time. She did it. So she was able to drive me back and forth to work without me getting in trouble, and kept me out of trouble too, you know what I'm saying? The hardest thing was not having you there, bro. That was very, very hard for me. So I made sure I drove to Orlando, what was it, about 3-hour drive to come pick you up every chance I did. Or pick you up, drop you off. It was very hard because your mom wasn't going to drive to bring you to me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
So in the beginning, it was very hard. I think I might have convinced her once or twice to pick you up if my car wasn't doing so good or whatever. But I didn't see myself living this lifestyle where you were away from me. It wasn't going to happen. So luckily, we put our brains together and we came up with the little plan that we
master
did.
plan.
Yeah, we came up with that plan where your mom had to either let you come live with me or drive you to school because you get fights in the bus. And it worked out pretty good for us.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty good. So I got lucky in that sense. I got lucky, in my opinion.
No.
So
what would you recommend that those men do that are in that situation? You recommend?
There's a loophole for everything, man. There's a loophole. You just got to be patient and look for it. If you're dealing with that problem and you're the type of man that wants to be around your kids, you have the option of trying to work things out. If you don't see that as a possibility, then definitely find a loophole. Because if you want to be part of them, the mom is just as important as the dad. But since you're asking me what's the advice to the dad, I would say find a loophole. You know what I'm saying? Or just be there, man. The important thing is to be there. Sometimes we move out of state or move out of the city, and it becomes hard to be around them. So just work your magic to where you can stay close by. Now, if the mom is the one trying to talk about moving out, by all means, try to convince her not to. Even if you got to act like you're going to fucking work things out. I don't know, but there's got to be a loophole. If there isn't, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough ride, but it's very important that your child knows that you love them. And it's very hard to get that point through when they're at a far distance or not nearby or you're not part of their life.
All right.
I don't know if that answered the question completely, but that was the best I could
think
do.
it answered it, bro. I got a good relationship with you, and we were separated for a while. So, all right, guys, that's my podcast. Bye.